$750 tax credit. So in this next topic, we're just gonna do an updated tax credit or Tesla tax credit explained, because I do get questions all the time about, what do they qualify themselves, or how do you qualify, or do you qualify as an individual? And so I'll give you the exact tools on what you can do to see how much federal tax you pay, and also how much tax credit you can actually take from buying a Model 3 or a Model Y. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description if you want to support the channel, but more on that later. All right, so let us take a look at this. So you just ordered a Tesla Model Y and use our referral code down below in the description, and you're wondering how much of this tax credit, or maybe you haven't purchased yet, you're on the fence and you're trying to figure out what you want to do, and how much you're trying to figure out how much of this tax credit, whether it's $7,500 federal tax credit for the Tesla Model Y in the all-wheel drive standard range, the long range, and of course the performance model, or if it's the Model 3 where only two of the models only qualify for the, or two models qualify for the $3,750 tax credit, which is the Model 3 standard range rear-wheel drive, and the Model 3 long range, which both of those only qualify for $3,750 tax credit. There is, of course, the third version, the Model 3 Performance, of course, the most expensive one, but then that one qualifies for the full $7,500 federal tax credit. So the first thing is you're trying to figure out how much of this tax credit will you actually get back, because you do have to make above a certain income limit, and it's a W-2 income limit, because W-2 income paychecks, W-2 incomes pay taxes on every single paycheck, where this self-employed, it's kind of this thing where if it's self-employed, you should definitely talk to a CPA, because depending on write-offs and things like that, that your federal tax might not be as much, or maybe even higher depending on it. But the first way to actually take advantage of the full $7,500 tax credit, or the $3,750 tax credit, is actually using one of our channel sponsors. Shout out to Tenet down below for sponsoring this video. You can actually use Tenet to defer a portion of the loan, maybe even the tax credit, $3,750 or the $7,500, all the way to the end of the loan, and which then results in a lower monthly payment. Tenet does this by working with credit unions and other banks to get special financing for electric vehicles, because Tenet understand EVs a little bit differently. So if you're looking for a low monthly payment, or refinance your existing loan and get a lower monthly payment, definitely check out Tenet down below in the description. And shout out to Tenet for sponsoring this videos and a bunch of other videos this month. But let us get into it. So the first website I use a lot, and really is one of the best resources to kind of give you the best idea. Of course, at the end of the day, let me caveat all this and say that I'm just a guy on YouTube talking about purchasing EVs. I've also bought 4 Teslas back to back, and I have taken advantage of the electric vehicle tax credit multiple times with multiple vehicles. So I've done this before. I've seen it. I do my own taxes through TurboTax. So I've seen the big number, the big check that you get from buying Teslas. So this is what you do. So here's the Smart Asset Income Tax website. You can type into Google smartasset.com/taxes/income taxes. You can see I've put in the threshold right here of $75,000 as a single person. And if you scroll down to the box for 2022, you can see this hypothetical person that made $75,000 paid 2022 federal taxes of $9,381. Of course, they paid this in every single paycheck because it was withdrawn out and sent to the federal government. So at the end of the year, that's the total amount of taxes they paid. So if this person who has an income of $75,000 buys a Tesla Model Y, they will reap the full benefit of the $7,500 federal tax rate, because they make essentially right around there, and they paid that much in taxes. So you can really much go all the way down to, I want to say, like $70,000, where you're still reaping the whole benefit. Actually, maybe even down to like $65,000 W-2 income. Actually, $65,000 only nets you $7,000 in federal taxes. So if there is diminishing returns, if you make anything less than that, you're not going to reap and get the full tax credit back. But of course, Model 3 only qualifies for $3,750 of the tax credit for the standard range and the long range all-wheel drive. So those vehicles, you can go all the way down to, I want to say, like $45,000 or $45,000 or $47,000, where you'll reap the full benefit. You can see right here, round numbers, $45,000, and federal income taxes paid of $36.41. So you can kind of get the idea of what's going on here. Everybody pays taxes, especially if you're W-2 and if you're a single person. Well, I guess married people also pay taxes, but of course, married will then push the threshold even lower, because the government, if you're a married couple and you make this much, they try and take less of your money away. So if you're married, you have to make, I want to say, even more to reap the full benefit for both of you combined. You can see right here, I'm all the way up to almost $95,000, and the tax bucket right here for the federal tax is at $7,881. So a married couple, roundabout number 95,000. That's for both of you combined. That's about the number where you're going to take full advantage of the 7,500 federal tax credit. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense. Hopefully that clears it up. Of course, at the end of the day, please consult a CPA if you've got special situations, because you can imagine this can get very convoluted and interesting, because if you add in 401k contributions, HSA contributions, kids on top of that, then it can definitely get a little bit more complicated at the end of the day. But hopefully that makes a lot of sense. That's an updated version of what's going on right now. And this is why buying an electric vehicle is pretty powerful, because when you file for your taxes next year, when you file for your taxes before April of 2024, you are essentially getting a added refund of $3,750 or $7,500 on top of that. And that's just straight tax-free money back to you, or taxed and then tax given back to you, and it makes it pretty worth it. I mean, it is delayed and deferred, but that's where you can use financing partners like Tenet to take advantage of the low interest or the low payment right now if you're interested. And so there's a strategy where you use Tenet, use their deferred financing, and then refinance the whole thing, get that low monthly payment now, and then refinance the whole thing next year when you get the tax credit, and then move on at the end of the day. So thank you to Tenet for sponsoring this video, and for sponsoring a bunch of other videos this month as well. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you're thinking. And we're going to jump into the live stream comments. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is a Patreon link where you can support the channel, and there's a variety of benefits, but some of them include actually scheduling a call with me. We can ask me any questions about buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or even financing a Tesla. And after you join the Patreon, you get a link to my buying guide, which has links to all the resources I use to get the best possible deal at the best financing rate, including credit unions and banks on that list that all have interest rates lower than Tesla financing, lower than Tesla's 5.59%, some even as low as 3.74% down to 2.99%. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. And shout out to our latest all right. And thank you for the 3 referrals that have came in. I forgot the names already, but I made a tweet. It's pretty quick. I'm pretty excited as well, because I was pretty bummed out. I lost like a bunch of supercharging miles in the past, but thank you to Billy, Sean, Guherme for using our Tesla referral code. If you want to use our Tesla referral code and get some supercharger credits, or maybe even win a Cybertruck, definitely check it out. Tesla referral code down below in the description. And if you just bought a Tesla, or if you're about to buy one, definitely check out our discount part Tesla part accessory discount codes down below in the description as well. And thank you to everybody that has used the discount codes down